hopefully. There we go. So we are building, obviously, our expertise with online meetings and professional learning opportunities. We have a few quick reminders of today's webinar norms. First, we are encouraging all to be very active participants, and so engage in the chat discussions. I see there's already some in there. Be prepared to unmute your microphone for the question and answers. We have those built into the day. Use the chat box to ask questions and also to make connections, and raise your hand if you need further clarification as we go through a lot of the meat of the day. There's a lot to go through, and please get excited for this comprehensive literacy state development grant implementation. I know that the literacy team is very excited, and we're so proud to be partners with you in this important work. So I'm Melissa Weber-Mayer. I think I probably know most of you. I was on all of the calls, which I enjoyed thoroughly. I'm the director of the Office of Approaches to Teaching and Professional Learning at the Ohio Department of Education. And congratulations on being selected to be a model literacy site. Again, our team and our regional support colleagues are really excited about working with you to develop model sites that other districts in our state can learn from. So we have 34 subgrantees, and in that it includes 8 partnerships. So please note that our vocabulary has changed. We're building our vocabulary, and we're using partnerships instead of consortia to describe our subgrantees that have more than one eligible organization. So we used to use the word consortium, now we're going to use the word partnerships. Of those 34 grantees, we have 16 early childhood subgrants, 16 and from our kindergarten through grade 5, 9 for the middle school grades 6 through 8, and 9 for the high school grades, grades 9 through 12. So today's discussion, it's organized across the morning and the afternoon. And so you might have different team members joining at different times. Please keep your agenda handy. It was in the meeting invite. The morning includes reviewing the goals of the grant, the subgrant activities, and technical assistance, and the afternoon includes the overview of subgrant monitoring, allowable use of funds, and maintaining awards. We have a short welcome video from Superintendent DeMaria, who couldn't be with us live today, but again is getting very good at technology. So Beth is going to play that now for you.
Hi, I want to welcome all of you, the Ohio Comprehensive Literacy State Development Grant recipients, to this convening. Congratulations on being selected to serve in your region as a model site for what excellent literacy education looks like. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be part of this convening today to launch the exciting work we have ahead of us. We know how important reading is. It's the skill that unlocks all other learning. But it's also so much more. Reading is a source of joy and comfort. It satisfies our curiosity, informs our intellect, and entertains us. If you're like me, your wish is for every child to experience and cherish the joy of reading, starting in their early years and lasting throughout their lives. There's so much fantastic activity in Ohio around literacy right now. The work is anchored in Ohio's strategic plan for education, Each Child, Our Future. Strategy 9 specifically calls for us to develop literacy skills across all ages, grades, and subjects. And our work isn't just about Strategy 9. It also brings together so many other strategies: high quality teaching, excellent instructional approaches and materials, strong principals and leaders, great early learning opportunities, and many more. Our efforts are strengthened by a first-rate co-designed literacy plan, Ohio's plan to raise literacy achievement. Our plan reflects the best thinking relative to the science of reading. It gives us a shared language and a shared vision for what we want to accomplish for our students. For the past several years, a federal Striving Readers grant has helped us to further lay the groundwork for improving reading, and we're seeing amazing things happening all across the state. We've gotten significant national attention for our work and our progress. The Comprehensive State Literacy Development Grant is an important and necessary building block to continue the work we're doing. and focus on replication and scaling through shining a light on high-quality models. That's where you come in. Being selected as a grant recipient reflects the quality of your proposals and your commitment to increasing literacy outcomes for learners from early childhood clear through grade 12. We're thrilled to start this new chapter in our work and forming strong and productive partnerships with all of you. Working together, we know we will see each of you become model examples, showcasing what it looks like to properly assess, plan for, and embed evidence-based strategies into everyday practices. And our students will be the better for all that we accomplish. I'm so proud and so appreciative to all of you for your dedication to promoting literacy and improving literacy outcomes. Ohio is fortunate to have all of you as part of the education team. Thanks for what you do each and every day for Ohio students. Enjoy today's discussions and activities. To be part of
All right, so we thank our Superintendent DeMaria for putting together that video for us. I think it's very exciting that we have a state superintendent that uses the terms the science of reading and evidence-based strategies. So I think you can all tell that our team talks to him quite frequently. He's very interested in the literacy grants and the progress that our districts are making. And he is also, as you can see in the video, he's really excited about what this is going to look like over the next 4 years. So this slide you've all seen before. This is the placemat for our Each Child, Our Future. And as Superintendent DeMaria shared, Strategy 9 explicitly calls out developing literacy skills across all ages, grades, and content areas, which aligns perfectly with our grants. And in order to do this, we'll also address many other those priority strategies throughout those grant activities. And those are a lot of the things that you agreed to in our interview calls. All of the work of the grant is grounded in implementing practices identified in Ohio's plan to raise literacy achievement. And this plan was first published in January of 2018 to prepare for the first Striving Readers Grant. And that plan was then updated in January of 2020. So you can see the graphics look a little fancier, but that was also to continue implementing Striving Readers Grant and to begin the implementation of the Comprehensive Literacy Development Grant. You will learn more about this plan during the breakout sessions today. You will also be the group that helps inform the next iteration of this plan, because with each iteration, this plan becomes stronger based on what we learn from our Ohio districts and early childhood entities, as well as newly published research. Ohio's plan can be found on ODE's website, but I know everybody, well, almost everybody on this call has probably read it. You can search the keyword literacy, or the link is shown here on the slide, and there's also the QR code if you like to read large documents on your phones. So during this first section, we're going to review the statewide goals, objectives, and measures. At the state level, to gauge awardees' performance under the grant, the Ohio Department of Education, I'm going to wait for the slide, there we go. The Ohio Department team is going to analyze and report data to the U.S. Department of Education, and that data includes the percentage of 4-year-old children who achieve significant gains in oral language skills, the percentage of 5th grade learners who met or exceed proficient on the state English Language Arts test, the percentage of 8th grade learners who met or exceed proficient on the state English Language Arts test, and the percentage of high school learners who met or exceed proficient on the state English Language Arts test. Now, knowing that we have some challenges with collecting data, the U.S. Department of Education is being flexible during these times. All right, that we have these ambitious statewide goals. So Ohio has identified 3 project goals for the CLSD grant, and these goals are they are extremely ambitious. As you read them on the slides, there's going to be a lot of text on these slides too, so we'll give you a little time to read, but then you'll also get a copy of these. And so these goals are ambitious for our proposed model sites, and that's why it was critical in the application to show that the proposed model sites were ready for this work and that the project was a good fit. So the interviews were an important final step in that selection process. So the goal, you see the goals outlined here that are all by the end of 2024. We have proposed model sites will increase the percentage of students proficient in ELA, grades 3 through high school, or on track in reading, grades preschool through grade 2 by 25 percentage points, or reaching at least 80%. In goal 2, we have the proposed model sites will increase the percentage of disadvantaged students proficient on those same assessments by 25 percentage points, or at least reach 80%. And then the third goal is pertaining to sites that are not here today, but will choose to engage with you all and learn from you. And we're counting on these networks, it's through the networking and partnerships, that the work that you're doing will impact and have access for other districts to look at and examine quality literacy instruction in a district as a whole, and in schools and in early childhood programs. Our project objective number 1 as subgrantees, wait for the slide to catch up. It looks like we're lagging a little bit. You should see a slide with a star. There we go. As subgrantees, you have proposed sites to us at the department to work toward model comprehensive literacy site status. So these sites are not considered models today on August the 7th, 2020. This is a collaborative effort between you, the State Department, and regional supports to build that model site. And so through the subgrant funding and technical assistance, we are expecting that up to 64 sites will attain that model site status. And participation in the subgrant does not provide that status to the building, but actually reaching the model site status, or say that 10 times fast, will determined by the department, will be based on data and monitoring throughout the subgrant process. So we are expecting to learn as much from you as you are from the activities that you're engaged in. And as I stated earlier, the grant is currently funding the projects of 34 sites, and we're planning on identifying additional proposed sites in middle school and high school later this fall.
The Office of Federal Programs at Ohio Department of Education.
One thing.
When you finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more.
I'm going to stop for a second. Well, one thing I did forget to say in those norms was please remember to make sure that you are on mute. And the other thing that might help with bandwidth, if you see my face freezing or things happening that don't look like they should be happening, is to turn off your video unless it's time you want to ask a question. All right, so in this slide, you'll see at the top, the project objective 1 is exactly that the 64 sites will be identified across early childhood education programs and located throughout Ohio and across our 16 regions. The next goal, project objective 2, is where you have agreed through your application and acceptance of the subgrant to participate in your region's literacy network. And that network may utilize your identified buildings as examples of high quality implementation of evidence-based language and literacy practices. So it is our goal of the networks that as you work through this process of becoming a model site, that process is shared with your colleagues in other districts. Our project objective 3 is, as a comprehensive literacy state development grantee, you will have first access to resources and opportunities, and you'll provide feedback and take part in developing enhancing resources to make them better for future use. So with project objective 3, the department is going to develop statewide professional learning opportunities and resources for all programs in Ohio to access regarding birth through grade 12, comprehensive literacy instruction. And also, you know, when we talk about this, remember, we're talking about the vision that's in the Ohio's Plan to Raise Literacy Achievement in Section 4 across that language and literacy continuum. And embedding those evidence-based strategies, which includes family literacy strategies and increasing educational options for students who have traditionally been underserved. All right, so that was a lot of information. I'm going to pause here and take some time for questions. We'll check the chat. You can raise your hand to ask questions, and then we will have, I think Beth is monitoring, or one of the team members is monitoring the chat box so that we can call on you and you can unmute and show us your video. So I see a question about sending out the PowerPoint. Yes, you will receive the PowerPoint. Any other questions? Beth, do you see any hands raised in there?
Nope, this is a quiet group this morning. So I think we can keep moving.
All right, that's what we'll do. All right, so our second section is about the awardee agreements. So we will review these, and these were the subgrants. All of you reviewed the following agreement with ODE staff during that final interview call. And we're going to take some time to briefly go through those agreements and answer any questions that you might have that maybe didn't get answered on those calls. So these awardee agreements were all listed in Appendix 1 of the request for applications. The first is agreeing to participate in the national evaluation, and that means that all subgrantees will complete surveys about strategies. If you are a Striving Readers grantee, you were contacted by the external evaluator. Mostly, I think your teachers completed surveys and practices under the new grant. So you'll likely be contacted for that. The U.S. Department of Education and its contractor will provide states and their subgrantees more details on what that will look like and the types of data and the processes for submission as we move forward. Some K-5 subgrantees may elect to participate in an additional impact study conducted by the U.S. Department of Education, and that too, if you've identified yourself as being interested, you will be hearing from the group at the U.S. Department of Education for more details. The second agreement was to participate in the annual Literacy Academy, which most of the people on the call have probably been to at least one, or access the Literacy Academy videos that are on ODE's website, and technical assistance. So this means not only attending the Literacy Academies and engaging in the learning sessions, but also agreeing to be expert presenters and presenting on your implementation of activities that are leading to your model site development. And that will occur in years 2 through 4. And starting today, you have agreed to participate in your technical assistance provided by the department for the next 4 years. So this is truly a collaborative effort between the department, our regional colleagues, and the subgrantees. The third agreement was to agree to participate in training, and administrators will participate, or designated, or you can designate approved staff to participate in department disseminated training that will be on Ohio's coaching models, and that'll be for all subgrantees. And we did ask that question about instructional and peer coaching. We will also address systems coaching. There will also be professional learning opportunities on the Reading Tiered Fidelity Inventory, which I believe all of you are familiar with. In K5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. And then the Ready Schools Literacy Transition Plan, which will be introduced this fall, will be for the birth to K entry and K5 subgrantees. Remember, we're aiming to build model sites, and that includes building those strong systems to support classroom implementation. The fourth activity that you have agreed to is to have all educators participate in grant activities to complete an educator pre and post, which includes an educator pre-post assessment. And so this means that we'll have administrators, coaches, teachers participating. Anybody that's participating in any of the grant activities will complete a pre and a post-test assessment that's based on evidence-based language and literacy strategies relevant to the grade bands that they serve. So our team is working with the national experts to develop an assessment for each age band. Please, we don't want our anybody to stress out about this. This is to collect information so that we can look at where we need to provide supports and where we might have gaps in resources and materials that we have currently in our districts, that we have currently at the state level and currently at the regional level, so that we can fill those gaps to make sure that we're meeting the needs and building the capacity to be able to support all those evidence-based strategies that go across the age bands. The fifth agreement was that we will collect student assessment, and you will help us with that data management. This is broken down by grade band. So birth to kindergarten entry is the early learning assessment. Kindergarten through grades 5 is kindergarten through grade 5 is the kindergarten readiness assessment, Ohio state tests in ELA for grades 3 to 5, and approved curriculum-based measures for the students in K5. Middle school, it will be the Ohio state test in ELA, and identifying and receiving approval from the department for an additional progress monitoring component. And that's one of the items that we'll work together on for monitoring and intervention. And same at the high school, identify and receive approval from the department for an additional progress monitoring component. Across the kindergarten through grade 12, Ohio English Language Proficiency Assessment and the alternate assessment for students with significant cognitive disabilities, if applicable, will also be gathered. Okay, there aren't too many more. Sixth is monitoring, and this afternoon you will hear from L.M. Clinton. Most of you are familiar with him. He's our third grade reading guarantee administrator, and he's going to spend more time discussing the logistical details of monitoring. But in addition to all the standard monitoring activities, all subgrantees will comply with requests to collect information via surveys or interviews or assessments on gains in teachers and administrators' capacity to be able to provide and implement effective language and literacy instruction. All the subgrantee recipients will incorporate that data collection into your own local program evaluations and report those findings to the state. And that will happen on an annual basis. And then all subgrantee recipients receiving fundings for birth through kindergarten entry and kindergarten through grade 5 must complete that Ready Schools transition plan at each one of your model sites. So that's a building level assessment. All subgrantee recipients from kindergarten through grade 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12 will administer the Reading Tiered Fidelity inventories at each model site, and that'll be the tiers 1, 2, and 3. And then use now it used to be called MyBlissy, and now I believe it's called MyMTSS reporting system for data collection. And we'll provide you more information and some training on that. That site will actually, you'll be able to generate some pretty nice reports from that site. Subgrantee recipients will also partner with the department and your technical assistance provider, which you will learn shortly, to develop locally relevant walkthrough forms to determine if the target evidence-based language and literacy practices are being implemented with fidelity. Many of you already have walkthrough forms, so we want to learn from those and then continue to refine them so that they can best serve our needs. And all subgrant recipients will upload local literacy plans each school year to reflect the changes in your progress and needs as determined by you. So what we want to see too then in those local literacy plans, it's kind of going to serve as your roadmap for building your model site. And all subgrant recipients will allow the state to collect information on teacher and administrative capacity. All right, there's only 7, so we're on 6. Nope, we're on 7. Actually, let's see, there's 8. Sorry about that. Number 7 is engaging with your regional literacy network, and that means that you will participate and identify members to kind of serve on that network and provide input to the network. All subgrantee recipients will ensure cooperation of model sites, and this is where districts who have not been awarded will be able to learn from you through the process. And finally, the reporting. And this means that by each age band, you will report the progress of participating 4-year-olds on the early learning assessment, the progress of your K-3 on the assessments that we have already identified for K-5, 6, 8, and 9, 12. Also the same assessments, and then progress of participating students using the English language arts proficiency assessment, so that the on track, not on track. And I'm going to pause. I see some questions coming in the inbox. So I'll pause here.
Melissa, you're muted.
Okay. Okay. It looks like some of the questions have already been answered in the meeting chat. Team, are you monitoring and seeing questions that have not been answered that we can address?
So there's a question from Leslie Kelly asking, will we find out additional information regarding the RTFI training for the people we identified in our grant application? And yes, Leslie, you can, after you meet your TA provider this morning, you can speak with them more about RTFI training and facilitation. RTFI training is available online, and we can provide that to anyone who needs access to that. And then all of the TA providers are further trained in the RTFI and can provide support to you and your administrators as well.
Okay, and then I see some questions about step up to quality, and we will have to work with early learning and school readiness on that. So we will get back to you on those questions. Step up to quality is for our birth to school age entry colleagues.
See, Carrie McCrate asked, will the pre-assessment referenced be a tool provided or does it need to be locally developed? If provided, what is the time frame for availability? This will be provided from the department so that all subgrantees are utilizing the same assessment. It will be aligned to Ohio's plan to raise literacy achievement. And we are hopeful that we will get that pre-assessment out sometime later this fall.
All right. And I think that I don't see any more questions in there. Beth, do you see any hands raised? I know we went through everything rather quickly. In fact, we are very early.
So I think what we can go ahead and do is take our morning coffee break. We're going to take a 10-minute break. And because we'll be coming back early, if you think of some questions as you're processing this information over the break, we can start again with an opportunity for Q&A and then move into the next part of today's meeting. So go ahead and take that 10-minute break and we will all come back together at 9:45.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I believe that was 10 minutes. I also have to apologize for the state that decided to mow the lawn outside of the window. So that big loud noise was another one of our state employees doing their work today. We want to open up the afternoon, or what's feels like the afternoon, doesn't it? It's only 9:45. With more questions again. Steve Griffin actually had a good question in the chat. Steve, can I pick on you to unmute your mic and show your face and ask that question?
Yeah, I can't show my face because I'm on the browser and not the app. The question is, we completed as part of the application process the RTFI survey so that we could use it in-house for just to see where we're at on our progress monitoring. And as part of our to-do list to remedy on our original application, we need to put that data into the Michigan system. I just didn't know if there was a deadline for that, if we've already did that process.
Sure. So if you already have it, you can go ahead and put it in there as soon as you have time to do that. We are working out timelines. We're also there'll be some extra training around the Rating Tiered Fidelity Inventory when you do go into their and just even maneuvering their new Michigan's MTSS or formerly known as My Blissy's website. We'll give some extra technical assistance on maneuvering that website, and then also getting in contact so that you have, they do want the district to have an MOU with them because they're using the information to validate the tool. You will be able to, though, once you get in there and enter your data, pull out some really nice reports. And then within that system, there are other professional learning opportunities on developing coaching service delivery plans and really looking at your data and thinking about which items that you want to focus on at the building level for your systems coaching. So those are other pieces. So as far as the timeline, Steve, we will as soon as possible, but we'll also within our technical assistance conversations this afternoon, we'll get more into some of those details.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
And Michelle Moore has asked, will all 3 tiers of the Rating Tiered Fidelity Inventory need to be completed? And yes, we're going to be following best practices from the creators of the assessment, which is that tiers 2 and tier 3 of the assessment need to be completed by the second time that a team is working with the assessment. So if the first time the team is working with the assessment and taking stock of their practices, they want to just focus on that tier 1 core instruction, that is okay. But by the second time they use the assessment, they should be adding in tiers 2 and 3.
Yeah, these are good questions about the Rating Tiered Fidelity Inventory, and we will, when we think about these questions too, we'll think about using, for our early childhood folks, think about using that for the Ready Schools assessment. It's not that we're just going to do this one time. The first time you do it will be your baseline data, and then the information and the scoring and the scores that you give yourselves in between will be what you'll work toward, so that the next time you administer it to see, well, have we made progress? We can measure that. The goal of the RTFI is an 80% on each of the sections.
And it looks like Superintendent Iarusi has his hand up.
Hi, folks. Thanks. The question is about the system that's used, the Michigan system, to upload the RTF data. I think back in April, we may have attempted to do that, but we're unsuccessful, and we haven't really heard back from them. Is that something that should be reopened again, or we should try to respond to another MOU. I'm not sure exactly what to do with that.
Yeah, Ron, go ahead, Beth.
Thanks, Ron. If anyone has issues like that where they require someone to help facilitate conversations with the Michigan group, your technical assistance provider can absolutely do that. We all have personal relationships with the staff up in Michigan. We work closely with them. So if you're having any issues like that, reach out to our team and we can help facilitate a resolution.
Does that help, Ron? So you don't need to re-administer it. We'll help you get it into the system, and we can even check to see if your MOU is already on file with them.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sure. I see Leslie Kelly has a question. Where our tech support be able to help us with the implementation of the reading tiered fidelity inventory and data collection? Yes, and I think Beth answered that. Absolutely. So technical assistance for any of you that were striving readers grantees will look a little different this time, especially because it really is, the way we wrote this proposal was that it is a collaboration between department, regional staff, and the district. So we are all in this together. So yes, we will be providing help on all of the major activities identified through the grant. All right, Beth, do you think we're ready to move forward with talking about the technical assistance? Leslie, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and the literacy team is actually part of the favorite part of their work is working with the districts, working with you directly. They're kind of like all of you. Their non-favorite is the paperwork and compliance pieces, and their favorite work are the people pieces, and really seeing this. Teachers get excited about the work, principals get excited about the work, superintendents getting excited about the work, and then seeing the impact it's having on students and families. So Beth Hess, which I think a lot of you might know, is one of our she's one of our education specialists at the department, she's in the literacy group, and I think she's going to have everybody introduce themselves, and those will be the team. It actually reaches beyond the four walls of the department, which really, I don't know if there are four walls of the department anymore. They seem to be expanded out across everywhere. So she's going to lead the next section.
Great. Thank you so much, Melissa. I'm Beth Hess. I'm our K-5 literacy specialist at the department. I've been with the department's literacy team for a little bit over 5 years now, and I'm really excited to get this grant off the ground. It's something we've been working toward for a long time, and we feel very fortunate to have the funding from USDOE to do this work. So all subgrantees will be provided technical assistance from an individual literacy specialist, as well as having access to our entire team. So each specialist is going to directly support about 5 to 8 subgrantees. And we've tried to make these placements based on the grade band award that the subgrantee has received. Although some of you were quite ambitious and have a large grant spanning multiple grade bands. And so we've tried to match you with your support person who has that experience as well. And so before we go into the details of technical assistance, I do want to take a few moments to allow our team to introduce themselves so you can all put some faces to names. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I'm going to let everyone turn on their cameras from our team and introduce themselves. So you should see them nice and big in your screen. Oh, there's the Brady Bunch starts to fill up our screen. Awesome. So as I said, I'm Beth Hess. I'm the K-5 specialist. And then I'm going to pass this over why don't we go birth through K entry up the spectrum, but we'll start with our Ohio literacy leads who really fill that full spectrum. So Carolyn, why don't you get us started? Oh, you're muted.
took my glasses off and I couldn't see anything that was happening on my screen. Hi, everyone. My name is Carolyn Turner, and I am one half of the Ohio Literacy Lead Brain. You'll find that out very shortly. So I work out of Southwest Ohio in Cincinnati, out of SST 13. But like Beth said, we kind of span the state through all the age grade bands. So I'm really happy to see a lot of familiar names on the list today. It's always been great working with you, and I wish I could see your faces. So hopefully we'll get together soon, and I'm really helped to support you working through this project.
I guess that means I'm up next, huh? I'm Michelle Elia. I'm the other Ohio Literacy Lead, and together Carolyn and I provide a lot of professional development all over the state. So hopefully you will see a lot of us virtually for a while, but still we promise to make it engaging for you. But we look forward to working with all of you in all of your grants going forward. We especially like working on the RTFI, so that is a good thing. And so if you have any questions about that, we'll be happy to help you.
Hi, I'm Kim Davis, and I'm the Birth Through Kindergarten Entry Literacy Specialist. I've been with the department since about 2017, where I started in the Office of Early Learning and School Readiness, and now I've transitioned over to the Literacy Office and supporting emergent and early literacy practices there. So my focus primarily is on birth through kindergarten entry. We're glad to have you guys.
My name is Melissa Babcock. I'm a literacy specialist. I'm primarily focused on middle school. I've been with the department for almost 2 years now, and both Jeremy, Luke, and I also work to support Roger Howard and Rachel Daniels, who are our adolescent literacy specialists across the state. And so we're looking forward to working with you, especially as we put together some new professional development for our middle school and high school subgrantees.
So I'll jump in now. I'm Rachel Daniels, and along with Melissa, I'm working with middle school focus. I am one of 2 adolescent literacy specialists, and I'm housed at the ESC of Central Ohio in Columbus. And I'm really looking forward to diving into more secondary focused work. Good to see everyone.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Luke. I'm the 912 literacy specialist at the department. Next week is actually my 4-year anniversary at ODE, and I've been with the literacy team since February.
Hello, my name is Roger Howard, and I am the other adolescent literacy specialist in the state, and I am housed at the ESC of Northeast Ohio with SST 3. And I'm looking forward to working with everyone and continuing to support our efforts with adolescent literacy.
And I am not a literacy specialist in any way, shape, or form. I'm Marcia Ward. I am a project manager at the department. I am functioning as the grant manager for this. So I am involved in budgets and anything else that I can do to help support your literacy team.
Thank you so much, team. So I'm glad that we can put some faces to names, and now we can talk a little bit about what it means to provide and receive technical assistance under the CLSD subgrant. So technical assistance will be provided in 3 distinct ways. That will include direct support from your technical assistance provider, networked support, where we can connect with other subgrantees and other districts and early childhood education programs throughout the state, and professional learning and coaching. So direct support, like I noted, comes directly from that assigned literacy specialist that you're going to spend some time with this morning. And that includes consultations, on-site visits, and of course, right now, virtual visits. You'll also have the opportunity to receive network support facilitated by that technical assistance provider. And this includes connecting the awardee to other awardees or other districts engaging in similar work throughout the state, and connecting awardees with a network of literacy experts, including state-level specialists and national experts. You might already be familiar with your regional early literacy specialist in your state support team, and we'll have more opportunities to work with those individuals as well as the many national experts that our team works with to develop these projects. An example of this from Striving Readers would include we had several middle school and high school subgrantees who were all interested in learning from and working with Mel Riddle, a former National Principal of the Year. And so we were able to facilitate an opportunity for those subgrantees to work with Mel Riddle on a side project and build some really great systems in their schools. And some of you actually are CLSD subgrantees now, implementing that work that you learned from Dr. Mel Riddle. The technical assistance will also include professional learning and coaching regarding revisions to your local literacy plan or implementation of the Reading Tiered Fidelity Inventory. And so this might include facilitating system level needs assessments, system level coaching based on the results of the RTFI or your Ready Schools transition plan. It might include identifying evidence-based strategies, as well as navigating our monitoring system that LM will introduce a little bit more about this afternoon. And in their role as your TA provider, the literacy specialist will not provide teacher-level professional development or coaching. So it's really important to understand that the literacy specialist is there to support your literacy system. They can provide some PD and coaching to your district and building level administrators or your coaches, but they will not be providing professional development or coaching directly to your teachers. So many of you may be wondering about revising that local literacy plan. Every subgrantee is required to revise their local literacy plan each year, and some of our subgrantees are required to revise that as this grant is getting started. And our regional literacy specialists from around the state conducted a technical review of every applicant's local literacy plan. There were 2 reviewers, and this consisted of consensus scoring, and they provided extensive comments regarding your plan. And these can be shared with all subgrantees, whether you need to revise your plan or not. These are something that your technical assistance provider can share with you in the coming weeks. Some of our awardees received information in their award letter that portions of their local literacy plan require revisions by the end of September. If you're required to revise any portion of your local literacy plan, your technical assistance provider will walk you through the technical review and collaborate with you to develop a plan to address any areas of concern. The second installment of Year 1 funds will not be released until a local literacy plan is approved by the department. If your award did not mention anything about a local literacy plan, you're good to go and you don't need to be making any revisions until next year. So you're going to be receiving some information and follow-up from your technical assistance provider. You're going to have the opportunity to meet them this morning. And then you're going to be receiving an email from them by August 21st, introducing themselves and trying to set up a time to get to know your team. The initial technical assistance plan for subgrantees who are required to update that local literacy plan will be drafted by September 4th. So that way there's some time for your TA provider to work with you in making those revisions prior to that September 30th deadline. If you do not need to revise your local literacy plan, your TA plan will be hopefully developed by the end of September. And so the plan is to be providing TA to all subgrantees by late fall. If you have any questions that come up between now and August 21st, when your TA provider reaches out to you, please always email the comprehensive literacy email. Even once your TA gets started, that is a safe place to send your questions because somebody is always monitoring that email. So if your TA provider, gets to go on a family vacation one week and you have a question, this is the place to go, as that will be monitored by someone on our team every day, Monday through Friday. So that's comprehensive literacy education.ohio.gov. That's also the email that we will always use when we're sending out a communication to all subgrantees. So please make sure that you don't that emails coming from there are not going to your spam or your junk inbox, that we do send out our most important communications using that email. So at this point, we're going to pause and take questions that you might have regarding technical assistance. But remember, we're going to spend a little time this morning with your technical assistance provider. So this would be a time to ask questions that are relevant to the entire group. If you have questions specifically about your project or your plan, you can hold off until you get a chance to talk with your TA provider. This is a very quiet group today. That's all right. There are over 150 people on this virtual call, and I know it might be intimidating to ask that question. So please be sure that you're using that comprehensive literacy email inbox to send your questions. You can start connecting with your TA provider after you meet with them today, and we'll continue to make sure that all of your questions are being answered in a timely fashion. We don't want to start our breakout sessions until the time on the agenda, because we know that several new members might be joining us at 10:45. You might have principals joining us or other members of your subgrant team. So we are not going to start those breakout sessions until 10:45. If you don't know how to get to your breakout session, if you don't have the separate link for your breakout session, please go ahead and email that comprehensive inbox. I'm going to put that email up here so you have it. So if you need the breakout session link, you need to email comprehensiveliteracy@education.ohio.gov. Our team will be monitoring the inbox over the next 15 minutes to get you those links if you need them. And then in the afternoon, when we come back together at 1 o'clock, you're going to use the original link in your agenda to come back to this general session. So if there are no other questions, I think I'm going to hand this over to Melissa Weber-Mayer. And please plan on being in your breakout session at 10:45.
We do have one question.
Oh, great.
We do. William had his hand up, and then he was so patient that then he typed it into the chat.
I can't see anyone's hand. I'm sharing my screen.
It says, how do we know if we have to rewrite our literacy plans?
Oh, that will be in your award letter. So you want to go to your award letter, and your award letter lets you know any revisions that you need to be making to your application. That includes things like a budget revision or revising your implementation plan. And it may also include revising your local literacy plan, and it will be very specific about what sections of your local literacy plan require a revision. So if your award letter says nothing about local literacy plans, then you do not need to worry about it. Your local literacy plan is all set for this year.
All right, so this is a good time to log back into your emails and check those, or even take some time if you're together with a team to check in with each other about what we reviewed this morning. Again, I want to thank everybody that is on the call for investing in the literacy work across Ohio and continuing to make that a priority in your district, in your early childhood agency, especially, all the time, but especially during this time, knowing that we might have limited access to our children and families. So we will see you back in the breakout rooms at 10:45. Again, if you can't find the links to which breakout room you're supposed to be in, if you email that comprehensive Literacy State Development Grant inbox. We can get that information directly to you, and I will be popping in and out, hopefully, into each one of the breakout sessions to listen to hear your voices during those times. So again, we are very excited, and the technical assistance folks are really thrilled to be able to support you through this. So take a break, and we'll see you back in just about a little over 30 minutes.